Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Hopefully you guys are all having a fantastic day. Today's upload is going to be kind of a long-range outlook, but not necessarily. It's going to be mainly focusing on the next storm that is going to be approaching parts of the Ohio Valley, and the main focus area is the Ohio Valley and Northeast because it's going to leave immense amounts of rain for the Ohio Valley, which could lead to some flooding, and it's going to definitely be a Halloween ruiner for a lot of people. So if you have, if you go trick-or-treating, this isn't going to be the best case scenario that you'd want to hear, but it is what it is, and we'll need to talk about it. If you like these type of videos, if you like my channel, you could consider subscribing to my channel. You could consider liking the video, and how you do so is just clicking that subscribe button. Helps out my channel grow. Again, up to you. So we first start off looking at the GFS 6-hour average precipitation rate. We see there's a storm right here. It drops down, produces some snow into the Rockies. Again, that's it's going to produce up to 12 to 18 inches of snow in Colorado, which is quite a bit. But again, Colorado, Denver, especially Denver, sees most of the snow in November, December, and then January and February is actually less snow, and then they see more in March and April. So it's kind of weird, but right now there's a fairly active pattern for the mountains, and it's an active time historically, so that will produce quite a bit of rain, and rain and snow. You can see the storms right here, kind of hides around here, kind of lurks down here. It doesn't really produce much in terms of severe weather. There could be some severe weather going on. It doesn't produce insane amounts of severe weather. November is known for its being the second season of severe weather. First one's obviously spring, so fall. We don't need to watch for that. And you can see it kind of lurks down in here, hides away while it sends a stream of moisture up here. It's just kind of this cold front. We will need to watch for areas like Chicago, Iowa, Wisconsin tomorrow, as they could get quite a good dose of rain and fairly quickly, which could lead to some flooding. That passes through, and you can see this system starts riding up with the immense amount of moisture, and right across Ohio Valley, southern Indiana, southern Ohio, the whole state of Ohio. And you can see right here some severe weather in Georgia, and definitely not good news, because these areas where they have been struck by Hurricane Michael, they will be experiencing some rain, and that could definitely lead to some more concern, since they had already too much of that rain with Hurricane Michael. And you can see that wraps up into the Canada, and that is basically it. I could focus on the later on pattern and the storms, but I just want to focus on this storm in particular. So let's go down to the NAM 12 km, and let's go down to hour 1. And let's just take this one by one. So we're seeing the storm, which arrived onto the Pacific Northwest coast a couple days ago, and right now is producing quite a good dose of rain and snow in the portions of northwestern United States and southwestern Canada. And you can see this kind of hangs around here, barely producing anything, and finally kicks out a cold front with the end as it pushes somewhere around the northern Illinois area, southeastern Iowa, and northwestern Kansas. That's when it starts really ramping up. You can see this low pressure essentially kind of dies down and gets overtaken by this one further down here. This first one kind of gets absorbed by the cold front, while it's producing quite a good chunk. You can see the models are still trying to pop this low back here, but it's mainly going to be this system right here. And this is basically just a cold front producing quite a good dose of rain across these portions of the country, of the woods, Illinois, Michigan. Some flash flooding is possible with this, and that passes through, sags down farther to the south, while this system is producing some plentiful of snow into Colorado and into New Mexico. And as we notice, there's another storm that will be arriving into British Columbia, which could be our next storm maker, but we'll first need to focus on this one. And you can see what I mean. The storm kind of just lurks around in here, goes through like a change in phases, and with it, you could see some very high amounts of moisture gets wrapped up with it. It takes everything it has from the Gulf of Mexico and just shoots it up into southern Canada, northern Illinois, northern, I keep saying that, I'm sorry, northern United States. You could see it just shoots itself, and there's quite a bit of, you could see those lines right there, that's indicative of some severe weather going on. We'll definitely need to watch that. And we have this another system forming, which would be that system that arrived on the west coast. So we'll definitely need to keep an eye on that. Let's go to the NEM model, show total accumulated precip. And you could see that, sorry about that, you could see that with the first this little cold front that sets up over Illinois, Michigan, and Missouri, you could see that there is going to be some, heavier amounts, and that is because this front will be stationary at first and not producing quite a bit of rain. And then you could see the amounts here really skyrocket. Quite a good chunk of the Ohio Valley, quite a good chunk of Kentucky, Tennessee, Louisiana, Mississippi, quite a big area. Real estate could be seeing 2 to potentially 6 inches of rain. But otherwise, not much else going on, especially in the southwest or the north. Just some, especially with that second system, we could start seeing some things going on. But with this first system mainly affecting Colorado, New Mexico, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, these states are highlighted in these colors. If you go to total snowfall, if you live in, say, Colorado, if you live in maybe Denver, it is supposed to expect some snow. Let's go to regions and zoom further in on this. Let's go right here. And this is just the west, I think, right? So, I'm sorry, guys. Should have done this earlier. Let's go, western U.S. Actually, let's go again. I apologize for this. Let's go right here. So we look at some of these snowfall amounts. We're looking at 10, 9, 7, maybe some amounts over 2 feet of over a foot of snow, which is definitely possible. In the higher elevations, I would be expecting even some 2 feet amounts of snow. And then across Denver, should be seeing maybe they're looking at right now 3 to 4 inches. Maybe 5 if they're lucky, but it doesn't seem like a heavy snow event because this is going to be fairly fast moving. If this was slower, then yes, we could have seen even more snow amounts, which this is still already significant snows. And for the next 84 hours, not much other than that little snowstorm in the Rockies, Central Rockies. And this is a new model run. Let's just go back to the older run and run it through the next 240 hours. You can see some snow starting to appear on the northern United States border with Canada. However, again, I wouldn't be too confident with this, with these snowfall totals or where this placement is, because I don't think the GFS does a very good job of this. I think the European model does a better job, and I'll show you that in just a minute. So let's go to National Weather Service. Not Mathway. Let's go to National Weather Service. I should have brought this up again, but we're looking now. I kind of want to zoom in on these locations right here, and we are looking at right now the National Weather Service of Louisville, Kentucky. And the reason I'm showing you this is because they are expected to see very heavy rain, and if you live in these areas, then you may want to make a plan in case you get some flooding, especially in some low-lying areas like a basement. And you can see those rain amounts fairly high, 4 to 6 inches, fairly widespread, and you can see heavy downpours, possible ponding, standing water, minor river flooding. I would even say moderate to major river flooding. So let's go back. I again should have searched this up. I wasn't really prepared. Let's go to windy.com and let's go to rain and thunder and new snow accumulation. So you can see this is the European model. It differs quite a bit. There's quite a bit more snow in the northern plains, as there is a little bit in even as far south as the Midwest. So, but it's still fairly confident that areas west of Denver will be fairly snow abundant. I mean, Vail, that's a very popular ski resort, 20 inches. Let's go over here. You can see 20 inches, fairly constant, especially in the higher elevations. Aspen, Colorado, around 16, 15 inches. And even if you go into new areas like New Mexico, the upper elevations, 8, 9, 10, potentially up to a foot. This is Las Vegas, not Las Vegas, California. It's a different city. And Santa Fe, even possibly going to see some snow in the next 10 days. But and yes, that was for the next 10 days. And I want to point out the insane amounts of snow for British Columbia. That is very, very great amounts of snow. That may mean something, and we'll need to keep an eye on that, because those storms may contribute to some snow across the portions of the lower 48. So that is definitely something to watch. If we were to look at the 6 to 10 day outlook, you could see, again, I was showing you this a couple days ago. We were seeing that the blues were still on the map. However, now they're slowly disappearing, and I do think that November this year will be fairly warm across much of the country, and that could actually mean a good thing if you're a snow lover. So don't get disappointed by that. And you can see insane amounts of precip, way above average for a good chunk of the country. And if we were to look at the 8 to 14 day outlook, you could see that there is, again, very neutral in the middle, and then above average, in kind of creeping in the middle, and then still above average conditions for the for at least portions of the eastern part of the United States. And again, there's been there's been some patterns that I've been noticing and researching, and actually it's been shown fairly frequently that during El Nino years, when October is cooler than average, like we just had, and November is warmer than average, then sometimes December, January, and February of an El Nino year, when those two things occur, may be actually colder. So we'll need to keep. I may make a video on that. And I know that last year I made a video on why this warm and dry November may mean a cold and snowy December. I know that did happen, and this December was brutally cold. There were so many records broken. So we will need to keep an eye on that. Typically when November is cold and November is very snowy, then sometimes December and January aren't that cold and snowy, but vice versa is with that. But again, it doesn't always hold true, but it does hold especially true if it does hold true during El Nino years, if you know what I mean. So again, comment down below if you want me to make that video. So that is basically it, guys. Sorry if I extended this a little bit too long. I'll just show you the total accumulated precip for the next 240 hours. And you can see most of this actually falling in the next 90 to 100 hours, especially in this Ohio Valley area. And again, when you have so much rain over such a short amount of time, that could lead to quite a bit of flooding. And you see how the GFS is showing in proportional amounts of rain across the Northwest. I wouldn't agree with the Climate Prediction Center to show below average conditions. I actually have no idea why they're doing that. I mean, you can see the amounts here are ridiculous. So we'll need to see what why they're doing that. There may be a reason for that. I'm not too sure, because the Climate Prediction Center does have its flaws. Just to let you know. That is basically it for today's video. Again, if you have the occasion, you could subscribe to my channel, support it, and I'll catch you all guys in the next episode. See ya. Bye.